I found out I was pregnant with Isaiah when I was still living at home. I had lived in 12 different places that year. I lived from home to home. So I tried to hide my pregnancy as long as possible until I could no longer hide it. And then finally I told my mother that I was pregnant. And I just remember to this day seeing her face and begging me to have an abortion. My sister told me, since I chose to keep him, that I would no longer be able to live there once I had him.
She had been abandoned, by family and friends, and she was feeling very alone, very afraid.
As soon as I called the Gabriel Network, they just reassured me that I would be safe, I would be okay, I would have a place to live.
So I called around to groups that I had learned to work with, and fortunately found her a place to stay at an apartment that was owned and operated by the Lutheran Mission Society.
So I brought him home, called the Gabriel Network, told them that I had him, I had Isaiah, and that's when the very next day, Jim Sharbaugh literally came and picked us up from Hyattsville, Maryland, and took us to Annapolis, Maryland.
We pulled up at the Lutheran Mission Society. I sat there with Kim so she wouldn't be alone. I didn't want her to be alone because that was part of her problem in her life, is that she was so alone. She didn't have anybody in her corner to back her up.
I don't know where I would have been when I brought Isaiah home from the hospital. I could have been out on the streets. I could have not had a place to live. I would have had my newborn. Maybe I wouldn't have been able to keep him.
I could see Kim, even with that first aid that we were able to provide. She was so much more relaxed when I left Lutheran Mission Society that afternoon. She had a big smile on her face. I could start to see life returning to her eyes. There was like this spark that, hey, I think I can get through this. I'm not alone anymore.
And when my time was up at the Lutheran Mission Society, that's when I called the Gabriel Network again, and they helped me find another place to live, which was in one of their shepherded homes. So I got to move in with Maureen Stansell.
We helped her with food and shelter. Her other options were probably to go to a homeless shelter, which I think would be very difficult for anybody, particularly if you have a newborn baby.
It was like living in an actual home. It wasn't like living in a shelter or a temporary place. We were made to be part of the family, and she was like another mother to me, and she was kind of like a grandmother to Isaiah.
And that's really how they treated Isaiah and how they treated Kim as well. They literally became part of their family in their own comfortable home in a nice, quiet, residential neighborhood.
When you know somebody's going to care about you and take care of you and love you while they have you there in your house, I think it makes it a lot easier.
Kim and Isaiah stayed there for several more months, and that gave us the extra time we needed to even stabilize things more for Kim, to help her get into regular work, find transportation for her. And then the day came when she left the Stansell home and actually got into her own place. And it's been uphill ever since. Isaiah is now 18, and he's a big, energetic boy, very, very bright, has hopes to go on to college, and his mom's very excited about that.
He can be a comedian. He has a gentle heart and a gentle soul, and his ultimate dream is to go to Cornell in New York to become a veterinarian.
We not only gave Isaiah an opportunity to live, and Kim, in a very real way, an opportunity to live, but we gave Kim's faith an opportunity to live. And I'm excited for what the future holds for both of them. And I know that that future wouldn't have happened without Gabriel and the good people that are part of Gabriel that believed in them, stepped up to the plate to live the gospel, and filled that gap when Kim's own family and friends weren't there.